Another little man hunches over a clutched desk in the back of the workshop. His flesh is pulled tightly around thin. Hey, I earned the godliness? Well, I hope so. His flesh pulled tightly around thin, fragile-looking bones, except around his neck, where it hangs in loose wattles. He turns as you enter, a scowl already chiseled into his lined face.
Back again? I told you.
He hesitates, squinting at you from behind smudged and dusty spectacles.
Of course, a fresh fool to replace the last fools. What brings you stomping through my workshop, eh?
I sell false teeth. Heard you use a new set.
This one's got spirit.
He erupts with ragged cackles, still wheezing with mirth. He turns to the brazen golem over his shoulder.
What do you think of that, my girl? A kindred soul?
Oh, I think we're gonna get along great.
You better hope not.
I've got a fancy for this already. I've got a fancy for this already.
Hear that, Timora? Another who would tolerate your barbs and insults.
Anyhow.
But you come seeking the White Forge, like they all do. Boys with smooth cheeks and wild dreams. Girls with bright ribbons tied next to their scabbards.
His voice rises and falls with a sing-song of mockery.
Old men and women, too, seeking a final blaze of glory before they're snuffed out for another turn at the wheel. Sound familiar?
I'd rather strive for greatness than wither in the shadows.
Pazzo! Most bold for one who came seeking my help. I have this conversation with every pig-headed swashbuckler those Postenagos and stalwarts send here. Go see Garvino, they say. Surely he'll help you.
Must have slipped their minds what a busy and important fellow you are.
I like her. I like her.
I should have let them stone you. Would have silenced your endless rattling forever.
Then you'd have naught but those frostbitten inbreds for company.
I guess this is what it'd be like if Aloth and Iselmir were two separate people. Come now, I sound nothing like either of them. Focus, please. Uldrich said you could help me.
The only one young enough to have any sense. And since his mother runs that town now, who am I to argue? The villagers and their adventurers hammer and pry at the battery as if they were laying siege to some moldering lord's keep. But those stones were laid by some of the finest builders ever to have lived, disciples of Abidan in the truest sense. They will not fall by the whims of any kith, and the door itself, it is infused with living essence.
So that's why the dwarves disappeared. They got locked out of their own fortress.
Shoulder, I speak into seriousness.
He shakes his head, but amusement tugs at the corner of his eyes. We're getting there, chat.
The Pargrunen of Durgan's battery perished within their own keep, victims of a violent disagreement among their own commandants. Surely in the village you have heard stories, no? Disappearing caravans, tracks in the snow, screams from the high towers. The work of spirits still trapped in the battery, and a testament to those impenetrable walls. But the door of the keep, the one the Pargrunen filled with essence, it was made to listen, to recognize its masters.
So I need the door to recognize me.
Traditional Optapo cultures revolved around language. Words revealed who they were and where they were from. That is why you need a contact.
Ah, yes, I believe those are anthems of sorts. Please tell me I don't need a chanter.
That's the simple explanation. A contact is a statement of purpose, A declaration of identity. Each is unique to its stronghold.
Seal your door with the key of words, and any liar can talk his way through. There's nothing built of words that won't break when the slightest stress is applied.
Thus, to enter a fortress like Durgan's battery, you would stand at the gate and recite its cantic.
What an incredible tradition.
Verus. A shame the Postonagos here cannot appreciate such elegance.
Okay, never mind. I was starting to have a thought in my head of like, he's starting to sound like two different dialects, like Spanish and Italian. I was like, wait, those are kind of actually pretty similar. They're actually very similar. But anyways.
To learn the cantic, you must speak with one of the dwarves of Durgan's battery. A shame they are all dead, no? But no doubt their souls live on in one or two of the villagers of Stalwart. Like fine wine poured into a cheap pot. But to identify them, that is the first problem. You would need the skills of an animancer.
And you're an animate? I'm a watcher. The golem swivels her head sharply toward you. Her mask of a face and the glass eyes behind it betray no emotion, but it seems as if she's watching you carefully.
A watcher? Diverus? If this is true, then you could find a soul descendant from Durgan's battery, no question. But the greater difficulty remains. You would have to learn the cantic from the dormant soul. And to do that, you would have to awaken it.
Awaken someone? How would I do that?
An awakening is merely the jolting of a dormant soul into consciousness. When such things happen normally, it is because something has reminded the subject of a past life, often violently so.
Eloth flinches,
Thus,
yeah.
to awaken one of the former dwarves of Durgan's battery, you will need to address that soul, and preferably by name. But show some care. When you examine these souls, whatever it is you watchers do, you may see images, memories. These are moments of special import. What you see will tell you much about the person, and perhaps the condition in which they awaken. Awaken them from a traumatic memory, and who knows? Maybe they awaken thirsty for blood, or maybe you awaken someone else.
You understand the consequences of an awakening as well as any, Zircon, yet perhaps there's a benefit to the process as well. Huh.
Here, this has been tuned to the Aeon of Durgan's battery. Use it near the villagers, and it should tell you if one has a soul old enough to have come from the battery.
There's, I think, 2 dwarves in the village, or... Wait. No, that one dwarf is gone. But at the same time, there's... Isn't there a named, maid in the Gref Rest? So the cantic is all I need?
Who can say? None have yet opened Durgan's battery.
We already know what we're missing.
But
We
the
already
ones that came
applied it.
before you, I think they got close. You may wish to find them and see what they discovered.
I found what's left of them, a journal and an idol.
Then perhaps the cantic is what you now require.
But this awakening could be permanent, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes. Whoever you awaken will live with the memories and the personality of a past life. Maybe peacefully, maybe not. That is why you must pay attention to the soul you would awaken, no?
This guy's got a real knack for understanding.
It is a monumental thing to impose on another, but these are the very people who wish to rediscover the White Forge, Verus?
I see. Well, thank you for your help. He dismisses the thought with a wave of a hand.
It is a pleasure to have such a courteous guest for a change. A shame you must dirty your boots in Stalwart.
I'm going with him.
What?
You? Go to Stalwart? Is this your macabre sense of humor, or has something gone to rust in the beautiful head I crafted?
No one will bother me while I'm with him. Besides, I can help him find people in Stalwart.
You haven't been to Stalwart in 13 years. And this Watcher sees souls. What help could you be? Besides, I have need of you here. You owe whatever remains of your wicked life to me.
The golem says nothing, but her essence smolders. Resentment rises from within her. What's the story between you two?
This charming specimen is a convicted murderer. The Devil of Carrick, she's called.
Mighty fine of you to start with my good qualities, and you wonder why we don't get more visitors.
Killed over a dozen people before they finally caught up to her in Stalwart. Perfect company for lonely camps and mountain passes, no?
Hey, I know how to start a campfire.
The only reason she's not a frozen corpse is because I convinced the old mayor to let me try an experiment.
You put a person's soul into a metal body? He leans back, raising his hands.
Into a work of art! Look at this! Craftsmanship worthy of a jeweler. Fully articulated joints, capable of grasping a pen and writing her own name.
And of crushing your throat.
She snatches her hand away.
Show me another smith anywhere in the Deerwood who is capable of such delicacy and precision. She is a masterpiece.
Why did you build her?
Why build a fortress or a village or anything? To make something that keeps, that... It was the early days of the Legacy. My peers in the colleges of Animancy were filling the Hollowborn with the souls of animals.
You're right. By comparison, this sounds perfectly sane.
I thought there was a better way.
One with a Plum Academy job back in Salona. Don't forget that part.
He glares at her with narrowed eyes. Now we come to the truth. Reputation is everything in the Republics. And that reputation is built on success. Why is she called the Devil of Karak?
She committed her first crime in the village of Karak. Burned a family alive in their home. Did the same thing in half a dozen other villages, but their name stuck.
I take it your experiment didn't go over so well with the rest of the village.
Here we go.
She rolls her eyes, rasping them against their sockets.
They were going to stone her anyway. Why not allow her to be put to some useful purpose?
My life's ambition. To serve somebody's useful purpose.
Better that than no purpose at all.
I approached Mayor Sinahiod and begged. He saw the potential and allowed me the privilege of attempting my little experiment. Then, I accomplished what few animancers have even dreamed of. No academic support, no patron. Just me in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, now you got them all wound up.
Okay, I kind of like her.
I transferred a fully intact soul from a living subject to a fabricated body. She retained her personalities, her memories, all of it. Yet the villagers saw only a stolen corpse.
Aren't you afraid she'll murder you?
She may be mad, but she's no fool. She wouldn't survive long on her own. If the villagers didn't send a hunting party after her, the elements would claim her. Her joints and mechanisms require maintenance, and she cannot perform all of it herself.
See, he's reminding me. In case I get any bright ideas.
That's all I wanted to
She's
know.
a fine specimen, her personality notwithstanding.
I'd like her to travel with me.
Quay? No, you don't know what you ask. This woman, the Devil of Karek, she was a notorious murderer, burned people alive all over the region. Besides, she works for me. After all, I am the one who preserved her.
Let me parade her around town. It'll infuriate those villagers. You'd like that, wouldn't you?
So you get use of the Devil's services, and I get the satisfaction of knowing those stiffnecks are sweating through their small clothes, eh?
He sighs, but a smug grin has already worked its way across his face.
It's a deal.
Fine price for a blacksmith striker. Suppose I should be flattered.
And there you have it, a bargain.
You walk your path, I'll walk mine.
Okay, bye, Angry Jesus.
A moment. You are going back to Stalwart, yes? Perhaps you could do me a favor.
Tell me about this favor.
There is a man in the village named Grinde, the head fisherman. The rest of Stalwart kisses his feet because he fills their stinking plates with speckleback. But I know he's not as virtuous as he seems.
What exactly do you want me to do with him? It seems like you have a history with him.
That self-righteous meddler engineered my eviction from the village. He turned them all against me. Now I want him to feel the scorn of those mush-brained imbeciles.
What exactly do you want me to do?
Humiliate him, of course. Show his neighbors what he truly is, and let him live with the disgrace. He's always been a Ripple sponge addict. Just got good at hiding it once his sainted sister died and left him in charge of the fishery. But he keeps a stash in the fishery, sneaks in at night when the others have gone home, and emerges sluggish and red-eyed a few hours later. I want you to expose him. Go to the fishery after dark when it's empty, find his Ripple sponge and show it to Renengild. Do not answer me now. But when you return to that festering eyesore and smell the stink of fish that hangs in the air, consider what I've said. Besides, you appreciate a good joke, don't you? Diverus, this will be a great one. But be sure to approach the fishery by night, when it's empty. They will give you no end of trouble if they see you stealing during the day.
I had questions about the Devil of Karak.
As must the gods themselves. Something else? Quite. You're the Watcher, so you know better than anyone, Diverus. You must find a sole descendant of one of the dwarves of Durgan's battery. Talk to the villagers, look into their souls, whatever it is you do. When you find such a one, remind the sleeping soul of its old name. Awaken it thus, and it can teach you the Cantek.
I want to know more of the expeditioners who came
As
before
would
you.
I, but there is little to tell. They never gave their names. But they seem to know more about the battery than the others, which is unusual because they did not seem like typical adventurers. Their hands were smooth and marked with ink, not scars, and they traveled light. Unusually so.
Unusually indeed. What do you suppose they were looking for?
Val himself could not have said, and I haven't the time to concern myself with the business of strangers.
What are those constructs I encountered in your workshop?
Other projects, they are none of your concern.
Villagers don't trust you. Do those constructs have something to do with it?
For years, I've been trying to create another like the Devil of Kerrick. Yet those post-Enagos in Starworld destroyed my machinery. Now, I can only create these broken, mindless things. The devil remains my most perfect creation.
Wait, where have you found the souls to create those other golems?
Smugglers, slavers, fugitives, the kind of riffraff that pass this way. Rarely missed, and good work to keep my little devil busy.
Why do you... I mean, I'm okay with that. Why do you need more golems?
I can't present the devil of Carrick to the academies, can I? A mad woman and a murderer? No. I need to bring a success to the republics.
Okay, I've heard enough. Oh, very well. What are you? You are a rogue! Good. I like her. Living machine, immune to poison, disease effects, can't use food, drinks, or drugs, immunity to the sickened, unconscious, dominated, charmed, confusion, +1 might, +1 confusion. Okay, let's see what our abilities are. Blinding strike, 1 per encounter target. Blind for 11 seconds. User full attack. Okay. We're in position. And 1 quick move. The rogue instantly switches position with 1 nearby target, canceling engagement if in effect. Automatic when targeting an ally. Otherwise, must hit versus an enemy's reflex. Death blows. Plus 100% damage. Allows the rogue to size up a target's battlefield position, making sneak attack more effective when the target is afflicted by 2 or more conditions that allow a sneak attack. Oh. Finishing blow. 2 per rest. The rogue looks to finish off an injured opponent with a precise deadly strike that increases the damage the less endurance the target has. Living machine. Okay, we already read about that. Reckless assault. -8 deflection, +8 melee accuracy, +20% melee damage, +5 deflection. Oh god. So -3 deflection? That must be a mod. That must be a modification. Second wind. Sneak attack. Use the rogue's ability to approach unseen, adding weapon damage to their attacks when a target is blinded, flanked, hobbled, paralyzed, petrified, prone, stuck, stunned, or weakened, as well as when any target is struck within 2 seconds of combat starting. And Withering Strike. Once per encounter, the rogue aims for a vital area, inflicting extra damage and weakening the target. All right, weapon focus peasant. Hatchet, spear, quarterstaff. Oh. Rogues are fun in this game. Their sneak attack is hilarious. I'll take your word for it. We're going to be short 1 caster, but I think we'll be fine. I think. Deflecting assault affects user. Yeah, it's quite obvious that her deflection is just horrendous. -8 deflection, +8 melee accuracy, +20% of melee damage. Yep, modify reckless assault, +5 deflection. Okay. Devastating blow to arrest, modify finishing blow. And then there's shadowing beyond. Allows the character to temporarily turn invisible. Affect user invisible, immune to engagement, untargetable, break engagements for 11 seconds. Allows the character to temporarily turn invisible. Enemies cannot detect invisible characters. An attack made from invisible automatically count as a sneak attack. attacking, casting a spell using a specific ability, or using an item will end the invisible state. And then there's Bloody Slaughter. Jesus. Oh, okay. Just make sure her sneak is high to pull off melee sneak attacks. Will do. Unless I'm gonna have her as a ranged fighter. We shall see, but oh. Oh, that's fine. And so one look here. So peasant, so she can use hatchet, spear, quarterstaff, hunting bow, and unarmed. Let's look for a hatchet, like a good hatchet. Or maybe there's a good spear in here. Also, oh, not much, not much difference. I mean, I can enchant this for an exceptional. Missing a dragon eye. That's really about it. There's no point in doing that. The club. Hunting bow. So I could have her just go ahead and use ranged attacks. Maybe I could just have her use forgiveness. And that'll be, and then she could just use her sneak attack there. She can't wear any of those, so that's unfortunate. +2 unarmed damage. No, thank you. Oh. Oh, Durance has the cloak I want to give her. That's unfortunate. I'll look at that later. +1 intellect. +9 will. Alright, +2 dex, so I suppose I can give you that. What are you? +15 defense when disengaging. Oh, wait. She's got this, so maybe I can switch things around. Let's see what else we got for... What is this? Grants a suppress affliction. Meh. Fireball. Huh. Huh. That's interesting. Oh, really? Good God. So much difference in... I mean, obviously we're gonna have her this. Hmm. Okay. Yes, we could do that. This is going to be okay, so it might be a little weird without a second caster. But at the same time, I wasn't really doing anything with Durance anyways. But at the same time, I wasn't really actually doing stuff at all with anybody. I was just like, okay, go on in. I'm not going to use spells. I'm just going to have at thee.